Diablo 4 quarterly update for June 2022. This is the day after the announcement of the Necromancer at the Microsoft event. Hello and welcome to the mid-year Diablo 4 quarterly update. We hope you enjoyed last quarter's behind the scenes. I actually did enjoy it. It was mostly art stuff, but it was pretty good. Look at Sanctuary and Dungeons. That blog and our previous updates are available here if you missed out. So you can even go back and look at the Paragon board if you want to see kind of what they're inside, get some insight to what they're doing. I'd also like to take a moment to congratulate Diablo Immortal on its launch. The Immortal team has worked incredibly hard to bring Diablo to life on mobile, and it's exciting to have another way to enjoy Diablo. Today we're going to look at the final launch class, the Necromancer. Now that it's been announced on the big screen, we can jump into some grittier details and mechanics of the class. You can think of this blog as a companion to that announcement, with the lead class designer Adam Jackson deep diving into the core playstyles of the Necromancer and some of its skills and unique class mechanics, the Book of the Dead. So we learned that the Book of the Dead, I know, it's just funny. We learned that the Book of the Dead is a way to control your summons in the video, right? So like you can have your mages play offense or defensively and augment them in different ways, and then have like different types of soldiers. It looks pretty cool. We also look at a selection of incredible armor and weapons that necromancers can use. Diablo 4 is committed to the principle of player choice. It shapes how we approach many of our systems. That's great. This is great. From character customization to the density and layout of our open world. Wait, we can control the density? The fuck? To the design of our classes and builds, as you'll see below, the Book of the Dead focuses on the idea of choice and what kind of necromancer you want to be. We hope you enjoy this update and look forward to your thoughts and reactions later this year. And you can later this year you can expect to hear more about how we plan to support Diablo 4 after launch, including our plans for seasons. We're grateful to have you with us on the journey. So it's probably, I think it's gonna be more like Lost Ark, right? Or is that a good example? Lost Ark doesn't have seasons, but maybe like Call of Duty, I guess. Maybe they'll have like a battle pass or something for that season. Or but D3 is like a reset. So it'll be like D3 with no reset, I think. I doubt there'll be a reset because it's like an MMO, right? Because it's like a MMO, chat. So they put this in the blog, but we saw this yesterday. If you haven't watched it, it's on the IGN or the main Diablo channel. Resets would be nice. They might reset. I'm not saying they're not going to reset, but since it's like an MMO or Lost Ark style, I can't imagine that there are resets. But I don't know for sure. I think it's going to be like Call of Duty, where it's a new season, it's a new battle pass. Maybe it's cosmetic, right? And then hopefully it's cosmetic. And then once it's over in like 1 to 3 months, it'll reset and there'll be a new battle pass and all that. Destiny 2 has full 3-month seasons. Okay, so yeah, I think it'll be maybe like that then, because Destiny doesn't reset either. But I don't know, again, we're just speculating, okay? Today we're thrilled to announce that a fan favorite, the Necromancer, is once again returning to slay and subjugate their enemies with necrotic magics. We had a blast working on this iconic class, and we can't wait to get your hands on it. Necromancer has a storied history in our franchise, and we're taking a lot of care to give players an experience that lives up to the hype. We have spent a considerable amount of time making sure that fans of Diablo 2 and 3 and Immortal versions see something familiar, but at the same time create something unique to D4. The Necromancer has 2 types of resources, Essence and Corpses. Okay, so that's pretty standard. Essence is the primary resource, which restores itself automatically at a slow rate. We also found out that your summons could restore essence. Like that was like one of the summons, right? Using basic skills on Necromancer will also grant essence, allowing them to cast skills more often. Corpses, on the other hand, are leftover remains of enemies who die near the Necromancer. These remains can be used to summon skeletal minions or power various other skills, such as Corpse Explosion. Fan favorite. Chat's in the way. I'll take chat off for now, I guess. I'll put you guys up here for now. I don't want to take you away all the way. In addition to appearing when enemies are killed near the Necromancer, corpses can also be generated with various effects. So like in D3, you can summon your golem to create corpses. So maybe there's other spells to generate corpses. Like sometimes like you'll be on a single target fight and there's no corpses around. So they're maybe trying to alleviate that problem. Giving you additional control of how often you want to interact with them. There'll be plenty of corpses at baseline level. We're aware that some players will want to lean into this resource as a result and have plenty of options to ensure they're not left wanting. There you go. That looks just like D3 basically, but just with better graphics, like the corpses. But how else are you gonna make them look, you know? I guess I could have little arms sticking out. They could be randomized and have like little head, little arms, little foot. Maybe that would look stupid or too comical. A little foot popping out, little toe beans. As far as weapons and other unique gear, necromancers use swords, daggers, wands, focuses, and shields. At least we have one shield class, Rip Paladin. In addition to these types, they're also the only class that can use scythes. Oh shit, here we go. Here we go. Oh, she looks badass. Hello. Hey, baby. 1080p again only. She looks great. Doesn't she? Wow. Kara has been reborn. I'm a Necro main now. Look at that, dude. Dude, she looks so good. She looks better than the old Benjamin Franklin guy we have in D3. Yeah. Wow. I mean, wow. Okay. Get that girl a meal. The Bones of Rothma. I'm just gonna play it again, honestly. Wowee. That first model is the next level fire. She needs some milk. I'm not really into this emo style, but the first style is the next level. That too is good. That's super good with the red eyes. Oh my god. That looks good too. She looks like a vampire spec. So there's they mentioned a build. They mentioned a build where you can not use any minions. So like mages in WoW can sacrifice their elemental to do more damage, or like they can have no pets as a hunter and you do more damage, right? I forget what they're called. So there's a way in D4 that they mentioned that you can have no summons and do more damage. Lone Wolf? Yeah, so I would play Necro like that if I were to play Necromancer. I take back what I said yesterday. This is great. I'm gonna run it back again to here. Oh man, if I can play Vlad, I always said Vlad from League of Legends and Udyr, and we got Udyr with the Druid. If I can play Vlad, oh please, that's so much fun. So it shows how dramatically different you can make them look. They don't have to be all palely shut-ins, you know? They can have, you know, different skin tones and styles and everything. Oh shit. It's fucking Chris Angel, man. Run. Are you ready? That looks, I mean, that looks cool too. You can just have a helmet. You don't even have... They honestly went in their bag for this, dude. They honestly went in their bag. This is so good. Lady Gaga costume. The Lady Gaga dress. Rah, rah. They went, the artist went in their bag for this one. This is so good. Wow. Look at that guy, bro. Rah, rah, Rathma. That looks good too. This is like Lost Ark, right? Now that's just like too attractive. All right. Now she's just like, you know, she's about to lie any moment. Quarterly update just came out, yeah. All right. Oh, okay. Well. All right. Let's see. Additionally, what self-respecting necro would be running around the world sanctuary without curses? We're happy to say that you'll be able to put these nasty debuffs on your enemies to your heart's content with skills like Decrepify and Iron Maiden making a return. Nice. Very nice. That's pretty good music too. The music was great on top of it. They did a similar thing with Barb, remember? And the Barb skins were really badass too. The Necromancer has 4 high-level playstyles that players can choose between. These playstyles are Bone, Bone In, Bone Out. No, I'm just kidding. Darkness, which sounds cool. Blood, which sounds even cooler. And the Army. Bone In, Bone Out. Okay. So, like, if it was D3, these would be like the 4 different armor sets, right? But this is like the 4 different main things that you can build around. Bone skills are relatively physical in nature and thus benefit more heavily from effects such as critical strike. These skills also benefit from having and spending large amounts of essence, as they have various effects that can cause each individual attack even more powerful. So we're thinking like Bone Spear, right? Things like this, Bone Spike. Bone Spirit is back in D4 and now it has a unique twist that exemplifies what Bone skills are all about. Bone Spirit not only has a cooldown, but also consumes all essence. Bone Spirit was pretty bad in D3. So hopefully they fix it. Bone Spirit not only has a cooldown, but it also consumes all essence the player currently has. Once cast, a spirit of bone is conjured and seeks out the nearest enemy. It was too slow, and you couldn't use it in any builds. So it's meta in D2R. Okay, so then maybe that'll be better then. That's fine. Upon reaching them, the spirit will explode, dealing high amount of damage to the target and all other enemies in the area. This damage is increased by a certain percentage point of essence spent, meaning players who spend the maximum amount of essence will deal significant amount of damage to enemies hit. This skill can be upgraded so that when critically strikes, its cooldown is significantly reduced. Oh, Llama's gonna be pissed. He doesn't like cooldown builds. Oh shit. Meaning that players who commit to generating lots of essence will also have high critical strike chance and get lots of damage from this skill. All right, there we go. Another bone skill that necromancers will have access to is Bone Prison. When the player casts Bone Prison, they slam their weapon to the ground, calling forth a circular wall of bone to surround the targeted enemy. What, can you do this in PvP? Wow, can you do this in PvP, chat? That's the real thing. Calling forth a bone to surround a targeted enemy or area. Get boned? Enemies cannot move through this space while Bone Prison persists, which makes it incredibly versatile and able to be combined with other skills. So like for instance, if you had like a big AoE, you can trap them all in there and then just nuke them down, right? Or if you had a Sorc friend, they can meteor shower in the bone circle, or Whirlwind Barb could be in there with them or whatever. Even that they're not themed around Bone Prison is great for blocking off hallways, trapping groups of enemies inside to set up for that AoE attack, or simply sectioning off a group of enemies to deal with later. Okay. So like you can go attack the shaman and then trap the other ones. Oh man, are you ready for this? Bone skill preview. The video's been slapping, so. Okay, that's kind of what I thought it would look like. Let me get off my screen. Let me reload Elgato so we get the sound just perfectly crispy. I'm definitely maining Necro, it looks too good. If the blood build is really good, who knows, I might switch my main, but we'll see. They look incredible, so if I can get the blood build to be, then we'll see. So they're trapped, and then he throws in an AoE, right? Pretty much what we thought. You trap them in, and then they can't leave, and then you hit them with this smoke here. Okay, cool. Darkness. Skills use shadow magic to overwhelm their enemies. These kinds of attacks tend to be dot-based or attack multiple times in a short window, with various benefits and rewards being granted for damaging enemies in this way. Darkness skills also tend to have various debuffs and crowd control elements so that they can keep their enemies at bay while they die a slow, painful death. So obviously they're gonna lower their movement speed or confuse them, right? Things like that. Decompose is a basic darkness skill that allows you to channel dark magic onto enemies, dealing damage to them while also generating essence. Unlike other basic skills, Decompose also periodically summons corpses. Ah, way to generate corpses, making it much easier to ensure that you have a steady supply on hand for summoning skeletons. Another darkness skill is Blight. Blight launches a ball of dark energy in a direction upon hitting an enemy or expiring. It deals an explosion damage while leaving behind a defiled area. That seems like a lot of fun. Like, yeah, dealing damage to enemies over time, and you can lock them in with that bone prison, right? All right, let's see. It even says it, yeah, bone prison. The corpse generating. I mean, that's not so impressive, but it's still cool to watch gameplay. Like this, you know, abilities in D3. Right. But it's still cool. Fiddlesticks build. And then you get the little, I love the explosion with the bile on the ground. Okay. Yeah, I mean, watching the gameplay and looking at the art, everything is great. The shadows, and that is all amazing. They're just explaining what the skills do, right? Blood, here we go. Here's the kicker. All right. Necromancers can also use the power of blood magic to siphon the life from their enemies. Not only do these skills tend to have defensive-oriented benefits, they also have many ways to turn that defense into offense, empowering them and rewarding them for having large amounts of health, as well as keeping their current health total high. Blood. Blood Surge draws a small amount of blood from nearby enemies to the Necromancer and then expels a Blood Nova, dealing damage near the player's location. The damage of Blood Nova is increased per enemy drained, which incentivizes you to be in the middle of a pack of enemies for maximum effect. So you probably want to go shield maybe with this build, and high health and tankiness, so you can be, it's like an explosive blast wizard, but explosive blood. Another blood skill is Blood Mist. Upon activation, the Necromancer disperses into... Dude, Vlad, I told you! Bloody Mist, becoming temporarily immune to all damage while draining life of any nearby enemy that they pass through. This is a universally powerful defensive skill that can give you the time you need to regroup in those dire moments where you become overwhelmed. Bro, I've been saying it, man. Bro, give me credits on this game. Holy shit. Hemomancer? That's so cool. I wish it was faster, but it's still cool. Yeah. For years, man, for years, I've been saying, can we get Udyr and Vlad in Diablo 4? And we have those playstyles with the Druid and now this. That's hilarious. Literally. That's really cool. And like, you can like wait for your cooldowns or juke things. You know, having like iframes or whatever gives you like a lot of flexibility. Vladette for the ladies. Thanks for the 5, Driz. That looks good too. I think it looks good. And this map looks great. Okay, so this is probably with the most hype. That's probably why they have it last too. For me, I would play a blood build. But I would say summoning an undead army speaks thematically to the most people. Yeah, for sure. As you would expect, necromancers can summon the undead to do their bidding. We also allow players to specialize into empowering their army as much as possible, which includes various kinds of skeletons as well as the classic golem. One advantage to this method of playing is that they can easily incorporate benefits of bone, darkness, or blood skills. So you can have like a mix if you want. Allowing you to have great customization on how you want to interact with your army. Okay. As an example, we believe it will be perfectly viable to have a player pursue darkness-themed army build with Decompose as their basic skill to generate corpses, as there's an obvious synergy there. True. However, the player wishes to generate corpses via other means. They can easily take nostalgia trip to the year 2000 and just chuck bone spears at their enemies from a distance while opting for all the bone skill synergies that Necromancer has to offer. That kind of speaks to the theme, as they want you to play your way, however you want to play Necromancer. They want to make everything viable. We went through a lot of iteration of how we want the experience of summoning the undead to feel for the player and how much their skill bar should be dedicated to this part of the class. To that end, we've come up with what we feel is the best possible version to ensure that players have as much customization as possible, not only over their army, but over what skills they want to use in their own playstyle. Interesting. If a player wants to have a maximum number of summon units possible, which they will, and then they will only have to dedicate 2 buttons to their skill bar, one raising and the other one their golem. The raise skeleton button is a one-stop shop to raise all different skeletons a player can summon. And the golem button is used to command the golem and to use a unique effect. It's dependent on the type of golem. So like in D3, you know, like in D3 there you can make the bone golem spin, or the corpse golem create corpses, or whatever, right? The blood golem can heal. So that looks like it's making its way to D4 also. A one-stop shop. Yeah, yesterday they tweeted out like, I can't wait to show you what Diablo 4 has in store. And then John tweeted, I also can't wait to see what's in the store. I liked it. It was pretty funny. With this setup, we found a great balance between having the necessary tools for raising and commanding a Necromancer army while also leaving room for player expression. Okay, cool. This looks great. All this looks good. It looks well. It looks like it plays well. It's like yeah, it's great. All right. Book of the Dead. So this is how you customize your summons. Speaking of armies, what self-respecting necromancer isn't wandering around with one, okay? Well, actually, that might be you. We absolutely have the full support you would expect to fulfill your undead summoning needs. We're also giving some love to players who want more independent playstyle. This is what it looks like. Let me I guess you can't zoom out. So you have this Book of the Dead if you're a necromancer, obviously, and then you can customize your summons in different ways. The Book of the Dead, the Necromancer's unique class mechanic. So if you don't know, every class has a unique class mechanic. So like barbarians can use one extra weapon, so they can have more legendaries than anybody else. The sorceresses have like a spell augmenting ability. They can tweak their spells in different ways. I forget exactly how it works, but like if you have a fireball, you can put a dot, or you can, you know, pull enemies in. You can like augment your spells in different ways, like a real mage in a way. So this is their thing, is that they can command their army in a specific way to make them stand out from the other classes. Even though they already are, it just gives you more like class identity, you know. Right from the moment you log in and swipe, okay, you will start with an extra skill on your bar. Raise skeleton. With this button, you will immediately be able to raise undead warriors and fight by your side. In addition, you will have access to Book of the Dead, right? This up here. Book of the Dead. This is a space where you can customize your army or lack thereof with increasing options as you level your character. There are 3 customizable summons in this space: skeletal warriors, skeletal mages, or the golem. So those are the 3 things, right? 1, 2, 3. Thanks for the 28, Vetty. Each summon also has one of 3 specializations. So that's 3 for the warrior, 3 mages, and 3 golems. Thank you, man. As an example, you can have your skeletal warriors be skirmishers, defenders, or reapers. Skirmishes are a more standard warrior but have increased damage and reduced health. Defenders have bonus health, right? So if maybe you're fighting a boss, or you're maybe at I don't know, you're doing some harder level content and they keep dying, then maybe you go defenders. And reapers have slower attacks and deal AoE damage. So if you want more AoE, single target, or you want them to be tankier, you can kind of customize them. And then you can do all 3. That's cool. I mean, yeah, sure. This is a step in the right direction. This is great. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, I guess. Deal damage in AoE in front of them and have a special wind-up attack that deals a high amount of damage. In addition to this, each specialized unit in the army has unique upgrades available to them. Okay. Giving you more customization over how each unit in their army functions and their overall playstyle. These unit and upgrades will have synergies with various playstyles as mentioned above. So this sacrifice, I think, is an extra ability. In addition to all this customization, we have also added the ability for players to sacrifice different components of their army for personal benefits. Next to each unit is an extra option to sacrifice. Okay. The ability to summon that unit in exchange for personal. So it's like the lone wolf mechanic for hunters in WoW, like we talked about, right? A permanent buff. These buffs are carefully designed and placed so that players can mix and match having none, some, or all the possible summoned units, or still having the relevant options to enhance their build. Okay. Our goal with this system is that there should be something for everyone to be excited about. There are relevant, powerful options to choose from, whether the player wants to play with the full army, part army, or even those who wish to forego their army completely and play solo. That's me. I want to be a blood mage, right? Like, so we've had a blast playing with the system so far, and we're excited to see the various combinations that you'll come up with to push your necro to the next level. Thanks for the 4 months, Nikki. We're so excited to be able to bring you the Necromancer to D4, and we can't wait to get it in your hands.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being a great host to my first couple months of Twitch. I love it now. Quite addicting.
You're welcome, dude. Whether you're a vet who's put thousands of hours over the years or a new adventurer, we hope you'll have a lot of fun with what we've been able to create. Okay. As always, leave your feedback. We're confident we're on the right track. We know that the best ideas and the best games are created are with input from the community. This is what Alpha is going to do, is going to give us input from the community. So whenever Alpha happens, this is really, like, I can comment on all these systems and what I think is good or bad, but until you ride the bike, you won't know for sure. So yeah, I can give as much feedback as I can, but until we get Alpha, then I can really deep dive in what I think works or doesn't work. Thank you all so much for your patience and not getting too pissed about Immortal. and joining us on this epic journey throughout Sanctuary. We promise it'll be worth the wait. Awesome. So that was a shorter blog, and we learned a lot about that from this IGN interview. But it's still cool. I mean, to see it all and to get more clarification. This is basically what the blog was. You like the little things I add? Yeah.
A Diablo game shouldn't end when you complete the campaign.
True.
The end game is a really important thing, and
true.
You know, we wanted Diablo 4 to have endgame available at launch, and so we've been working to make sure that the endgame systems are robust and that there's a good variety of them. You know, Rod mentioned the Tree of Whispers, which sends you on missions all around the world. These missions show up on the map. You can complete these whispers for additional rewards, and those also give you access to the Nightmare Sigils that I mentioned earlier. Those will take you in.
Nightmare Sigils take a normal dungeon and turn it into a nightmare dungeon. This interview's on IGN. It's called Diablo 4 Necromancer Explained gameplay interview.
The nightmare dungeons, which
is kind of a take on it's sort of the Diablo 4 take on rifts, right? As people think about what the end game was for Diablo 3 and greater rifts, like nightmare dungeons are kind of a version of that. Yes.
All right. Well, Rod, Joe, thank you so much for your time. Diablo 4 releases in 2023 on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you. So we're watching this, and then the blog came out. So that's kind of what we're doing. But it's good to get more clarification. Bring back the real money auction house. What do you guys think about the blog and everything?